Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bagadon at Stock Market Caddy, and it is today Thursday. I gotta check. Holy smokes! What day is it? Thursday. Where did this week go? We've been having so much fun. Hope you guys are having fun, whatever it is you're doing. When we get a few more people in here, we'll share with you. We put out a tweet 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago. Um, That tweet is worth over $11,000. 11 grand in about 2 hours. Um, we learned to trade, right? Either learn to trade or learn to take a spanking from these markets. No spanking here. That MNQ up there, that's one. That's one. One remaining little MNQ. Just one. If you have any questions, let us know. Let's take a look at things. 9:30 this morning. 9:30 the VIX goes long. And we're watching and we're watching and we're watching. Then right around 11:30 she started to wobble. She absolutely did. That's right about the time we put out the tweet. 11:40. I forgot that we used to do that a little bit. Every once in a while we'd put out a tweet. Can't count on that because that's not what we're doing. Not even for our members. That's not what we do. We provide them the education, we provide them the tools, but also at 11:30, I mean, there it is. We were with the tweet went out right at about that level, so that's 4,000. 7,000. That's almost 11 or 12 grand. We'll be here. Any questions? Let us know. Good afternoon, everyone. And we're just watching the markets reverse course and meltdown here this afternoon. How low? We don't know. Do we revisit the lows on last Friday for tomorrow? Maybe. Maybe that was just a precursor. We'll see. We got a front row seat. Notice what is up. Not Bitcoin, not Ethereum, not even oil. Gold and silver. Gold and silver. And of course the VIX at 22. Good afternoon, everyone. And they were running things this morning, weren't they? Running them up, running them up, running them up, and defying. We had the VIX at 9:30 long, and they just weren't responding to it. They're responding to it now. We did put out a tweet. We used to do this rather frequently. We might get back to doing it a little bit. We haven't done it of late. We did put out a tweet right about noon that we were getting short. We have at about six. I think it was 6,000. I have the tweet right in front of me. I think it was 6,715. So that's up about 3 grand. And we were also at 25. I think it was 015, 020. So that's up about 5 grand at the moment. Assuming one mini, if you did options, may have done even better. We are algorithmic, we are mechanical and algorithmic traders. You're looking at a swing machine, monitor the markets. We had, right now, that position that you see in the upper left hand is one micro, just one. We scaled in and scaled out, but that's the remaining micro. Any questions on what you're seeing now? It is interesting. Gold is going up $100 a day. Silver is going up. We were suggesting to everybody back when silver was underneath 25 bucks, that that it had to catch up to gold, and gold is now running, and now they're both going in tandem. It's interesting. They talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that. It is what it is, right? It's certainly got money flow, but gold and silver have uses, right? And particularly silver has industrial use. The 40-year high, the 40-year high in silver was 52 bucks in 1980. Now, a dollar in 1980 is not a dollar today. So in 1980 dollars, or today's, let's put it this way, in today's dollars, if you were to compare, silver's trading like around 18 bucks an ounce. And even the gold silver ratio. So if silver is going to keep going, and that's a big if, right? But if it's going to keep going in trading at the high that it was in 1980, silver's going to 190. Now, it's not going to do that this afternoon or tomorrow, or even next week. I mean, it's going to be trading opportunities this way, that way. It's same thing. Gold peaked in 1980 at 700 bucks thereabouts. Gold's trading today at 4,300. So, but I think the better risk reward, we've been saying for a long time here, that if you're bullish gold, then you have to be bullish silver, and would have been a much better bet. I just would have preferred, that folks, if you were getting, gonna get into it, that you were getting into it underneath 25. Now that she's breaking out and getting on the headlines, there will be significant pullbacks in it, but it's going higher. It's gonna go higher. You see, folks, it's a game, right? And we're in it. We are in the game, but most people aren't. So you take, for instance, is it Chile? That guy Malay. His peso is collapsing. So U.S. Treasury said last week we're going to buy $20 billion worth of pesos. They didn't ask us. They didn't bother to say, hey, we're going to tax you to go buy some pesos. Nope. And in fact, yesterday it went from 20 billion to 40 billion. Hey, they're going to do 40 billion. And the next thing you know, we'll be rebuilding Gaza. Yeah, we need, a couple hundred billion to do that. And what will the U.S. Treasury do? They just print it, digitize it, print it. They just create it. They just keep dumping more and more into the game. And so if you've been saving your dollars since 1980, they're devaluing your dollars. They're not holding value. called inflation. It's called, it's the way of the world. It's what they do. So you've got to be holding something that can store the value, but you still got to pay your taxes. So you do need dollars at some point to pay your taxes and to transact to buy food and oil and gas and heat your house and all that stuff. But dollars in and of themselves, you don't measure them in pounds or ounces or it's just paper. Dollars get measured against whatever it is it's trying to buy or hold value. So if you bought, a car in 1980, yeah, you may have paid, $3 grand for it. Problem is, it's not worth anything today because it devalues over time. But try to buy a car today, and the average car is 50 grand. Oh, what does that tell you? So the fact that silver was trading at 52 in 1980, kids, it's got to go higher, right? But just over time. Again, we're traders. You can choose to hodl what you want. What we like to hodl is our education, our experience. Although we do share it, though, right? Any questions? Let us know. We keep the game pretty simple, kids. We have all these assets. They have prices. They have value, perceived or real value or perceived value. People buy and sell and buy. Lots of noise on both sides of the equation, and the prices move up and down. Our job is to extract the cash flow from the money flow. That's really about it. And as long as you're accumulating more dollars to cover your wants and needs on a monthly basis, hopefully an annual basis, but we'll start out with a monthly basis. Yesterday we came in here and in a live session extracted, what did we extract? I think it was a few hundred, 500, 400, 500. In a live basis, we're going to do all that then some, but we actually we took out more, but it wasn't live in terms of YouTube. We were pretty busy this morning. We're working on a number of programs. We put out a little teaser of a video, kind of excited about it. It's going to be multifaceted. It'll be a radar, it'll be an enhanced indicator, and it will be an enhanced strategy. We're trading the pivot information. Looks really good too. Looks really good. But we made a little video of it. We'll have it in beta form, I think, in 2 weeks for any of our annual members that want beta programs. We will, and then we'll all be working with it. And hopefully, in due time, it will go into the library, be showcased on a nightly basis for monthly members. But annual members will have hopefully a really nice tool. We have high hopes for it. It's very tricky to write. But we're getting it done. So we wanted to give everybody a little sneak peek. What would it have done today? Trading it today, we have. Let me go look here. bear with me. It would have done very well. Trading it on a 1 minute time frame today, it would have done $5,430. A profit factor of 6.6. And we're just trying to get the functionality down, so we haven't yet really, we will be delving into the back test. That is accurate. Of course, you'll be able to use this with other advanced bar types and charts, but we really like it. So we'll keep you posted on it. In the meantime, if you haven't seen the video, you might want to. And it's a beautiful thing. Any questions, let us know. Hope you've had a good day. Hope you're having a good week. Now, I got to tell you, if we take out, entirely possible here, I really want to see the finish. If we take out last week's low on Friday, we might do that. We might do it overnight. We might do it tomorrow. If we do, look out Monday and Tuesday, because there's no Trump tweet, right? And everyone will be like, oh shit, that was a warning. Last Friday was a warning. And most time, the bulls, when they're caught up in the bubble, they just don't, it's nothing, it's just nothing, it's just a flesh wound, it's nothing, it'll come back, don't worry about it, it'll come back. Okay. They have to say that because they have no trading skill. And if they know they don't. See, we've studied, given a lot of thought to the psychology of an investor or even of a trader, particularly a new trader. I used to think that people would hold on to losing positions because of greed or fear. But I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. I think there's another element. I think a person, even a person who goes into Bitcoin, who may have huge profits, and then they hold on, and it goes down, goes down, goes down, and they lose millions and millions of dollars. And I think what it is, in part, is they know in their heart of hearts that they got involved in something that they really didn't understand, and they got lucky. And it deposited huge sums to them. And if they come out, then what? And so they don't do anything. And they freeze and they lock up. And they wind up giving it all back. When there's lots that they could do. And when it's going up and up and up, like any market, there's no reason to learn to trade. There's no reason to learn how to hedge. I mean, there is, but they don't see it. They don't perceive it. It's not until it's all gone that the person then realizes, oh shit, I could have hedged it. I wish I knew that. I didn't know that. I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know. Well, whose fault is that? I'm Bagadon. This is Stock Market Caddy. For those folks that want to take over or take control, not take over, but take control over this part of their life, we're here to help you do it. It's better to do it when the sun is shining, when things are going up and things are going well. That's when you want to learn. You don't want to learn when everything is crashing down. And there's panic and there's noise and it becomes extremely difficult to shut that off. So you want to do it gradually, learn gradually over time, get a chance to see and experience what you need to see. It's one thing for me to know, right? But I'm not going to be, I can share perspectives and I can share, but I'm not trying to sell anybody a position or that, or a recommendation, do this, do that, do this, do that. That's not what we are. That's not what I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a broker. I don't even think those people can do it, but we're a mentor for those folks that want to learn to trade their own game and make their own decisions. That's what we're about. That is very, very different than anything and everything else that's out there. And we know what's out there. I see, and trust me, I get all the advertisements and all the shit that you get. And I get a kick out of these, AI quants, or send us your portfolio and we'll put your portfolio onto an AI quant. Oh, please. You have no idea what it is. You have no idea, you know, at least here, you get the programs, you get to work with them, you get to choose. They can help you. Hopefully you can help them. And you're basically mark to market every minute of every day, every week. You know what you're doing, and you're not beholden to us, to me, or to anyone. You're only beholden to you. You're truly, you're just like the game of golf here. It's between you and the course. Doesn't even really matter what the guy, in the cart beside you or the guy walking down the fairway with you. Doesn't matter what he does. It only matters what you do. And that's a beautiful thing. But you can see the tweets. So if you haven't seen the video on the newest program that'll be rolling out here in short order, please give us. It's going to be 2 more weeks before we have a beta, at least two. Um, we have it running in the background. We'll be working on it. We're going to be working on the radar. It's going to spin off a whole host of other possibilities. We like what we see, and it'll be images will be captured for our monthly members at night, and but we also put out a tweet at right about noon, and in 2 hours, one mini in the ES, one mini in the NQ would have had you up 10 grand, 10, 10 grand. That was just one mini. We used to do that a fair amount. We'll do it periodically, just to create some awareness. It was a pretty easy setup. But watch today. Watch the close. We're going to let you watch it here. We're going to be capturing that profit here in a moment or two. And but if we accelerate down today, I'd love to see it accelerate overnight. And I'd love to see. Everyone's going to be thinking, shit, is this the same Friday? It's Friday. Last Friday, maybe those were the early birds. Well, I thought it was the Trump tweet that made the market go down. Did Donald tweet something? Is he going to tweet it? I even saw a headline, Trump controls the market. Oh, God. He'd have you believe that. He doesn't control shit. I'm sorry, and I like, we're better off with Trump than with anybody, but he does not control the market. He can influence it, sure, and even the Fed, but there's nobody, there's nobody really in control. You'll only be in control. So, you can believe what you want to believe. You're only in control of your own destiny. And most people probably aren't. They probably have no idea what they own. They probably don't. And it's going to be a shame when it all falls apart. So you want to learn the game as you go. As you go, if you're in your 20s, you want to learn the game. You're in your 30s. You want to learn now. I know you got another job. You know, Suck it up, buttercup. you know, I mean, you know, you can work second and third jobs. Good. Um, I think of the time. I mean, we were well compensated, but all the time traveling and all that. I mean, put in a ton of hours. And the same token was learning about the markets and making our money work for us and learning how to go and staying up with what was happening and staying up with technology, learning to code, learning to trade, options, futures, investing, learning again, learning to code, learning the tools, learning to hedge. So you can't, just do it and watch one video and no more than you can watch one video and go out and play scratch golf. Not gonna happen. You're gonna have to work at it. And it does take time. It takes time away from other things. But you've got to, find a spot. Now the nice thing about trading is when you get good at it, um, it's just not going to be a satisfying thing. It will be very satisfying, but it should be enriching. It should increase your cash flow. There are 24 trading days in a month. Take Fridays off, take tomorrow off. Now you're down to 20. You pick up $500-600 a day. That's $10,000 a month. Just stay small, stay patient. Do that for a year, and pick up yourself up another 100 grand. And then you'll have like, okay, I get it. I know what I can do. You're not going to win on every single day. You'll have some setbacks. I'm not saying that you will, but you'll have setbacks, but you'll learn. And then you can begin to do other things. You can be trading multiple markets, multiple accounts, multiple different products, not just futures, but options. Do we have options that are short this market? Absolutely we do. Absolutely we do. Now, if you're going to ride with the headlines, right? And I know, the market broke hard last Friday. We were live when it did it. And I did not know it was going to do that. And it did it. Now everyone's, oh, it's the Trump tweet. Well, maybe, but maybe the market was, maybe they were getting ready to pull the plug, and they said to Trump, hey, you got to send a tweet out at 11, and send him some bullshit so it gives us some cover, and so everyone thinks you're in control, right? Do you think he would play along with that? Shit, yes. Do you think they would do that? Shit, yes. They got to get out of here without you paying attention. So then the market does what? Oh, then it comes back. Oh, okay, it was a dip. Oh, everything's fine. Everything's great. And all of a sudden, boom, we take it out. We go down another leg. Oh, what is it next time? I don't know. Trump said this. Trump said that. Okay. Well, on Sunday night, he'll say something and make it come back up, right? Okay. And maybe it does. Then again, maybe it doesn't. Right? Now, you take Bitcoin, for instance. Bitcoin, is topping out around 125, 130. Now, there are going to be people that, that bought Bitcoin for underneath $1,000. No big deal. They got a big profits. They're not worried about it. But what if somebody, put $500,000 into Bitcoin when it was $125,000? There's definitely people that did that. They're now down, what is it, almost 20%? That could hurt. All of a sudden, your $500,000 account's only 400,000. What if Bitcoin goes to 75,000? What if it goes to 40,000, 30,000? And then we start getting into the muscle. We start getting in. And what if it craters out and goes down 75 or 80%? Then the folks don't have the 500,000 or the money to put it back in. And maybe people, oh man, it was just a big ripoff. I don't want to get involved in that again. Well, has it happened with other things? You bet your ass it has. Absolutely. It happened with Beanie Babies. It happened with, the dot-com stocks. It's happened with all kinds of things. Oh, it's different, Don. It's different this time. Yes, it is different. Bitcoin isn't Beanie Babies. It isn't, but it also happened to Sun Microsystems. And, I mean, it happened to, companies like Global Crossing, real companies with real employees making real products, making real profits. What does Bitcoin make? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it just got created. Could they change it? Could they create something else? They're talking about these quantum currencies. Could they create that? The video looks much clearer and better today. I wonder what that's about. Well, that's good. You've also got to set your thank you, Tina, your YouTube to 1080p. Um, it could be too. We had to upgrade our TradeStation. We had an issue with Microsoft, so we were on the phone with TradeStation for a couple of hours. So it may be that too. It does look a little brighter, doesn't it? So that's good. Um, so we don't concern ourselves with all that day in and day out. But if you're hodling, if you're just going to work every day, a dollar cost averaging, putting it in. Now I love these stories, right? There's always from the Alan Fink of the world, who's sitting on top of BlackRock, who's got $13 trillion in assets. It's easy for him to say. It's very, very easy for him and Jamie Dimon. Just buy and hold, folks. Over the last 100 years, the stock market returns 10% a year, and don't worry about it. Extremely easy for them to say, right? They got 4 or 5 homes. You know, they're not gonna. They couldn't. There isn't enough time left in their lives to spend what they got. Even if it goes down 80%, they still got so much. So it's no big deal. But where are you? Where are you in terms of your life cycle? Regrettably, we all have a life cycle. And, if you're 40 or 50 and you lose, you know, 30%, 50%, 80% of your portfolio, are you going to be okay? And if the answer to that is no, then you better get to work really fast and start thinking about preservation of capital. One of the first things that we do during Q School is stress the importance of controlling losses. See, everyone wants to see gold go to 5,000, 10,000. Everybody wants to see Bitcoin go to 1 million. Everybody wants to see everyone focuses on the win side. And it's always going to go up because they just keep, ratcheting it up, ratcheting it up, right? It's an easy game. It's going to go up. It's going to go up. And I could be telling everybody it's going to go up. But if you're honest with yourself, and I like to be honest with myself, like I don't like to lie to myself. Why would I do that? So if something could go up 100%, it could go down 80% because I've seen it. And in fact, we're gonna go grab this here. We're gonna take this one right here now. So we're taking that. Thank you very much, Mr. Market. Probably gonna go lower here, but we're gonna clean it off. So you've got to come to grips with that. Splash some water on your face. Think it through. You're all very, very bright people. You have different experiences. Think it through. You know, yes, Enron was a fraud, but there were other companies that weren't frauds. JDS Uniphase, Sun Microsystems. There have been other things. Can they go to $2 a share? Even Amazon went to, well, but there you go, Don. But it went to $2 and it came all the way back to 1,000. Yes, it did. And so didn't Apple. But many, many others did not. And if you were the one that had a bulk of your income or your investment portfolio in some of those, then you came up in guts. And does anybody give a shit? Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Market doesn't care. Trump doesn't care. The government doesn't care. The accountants don't care. The IRS doesn't care. You care, you know, and you should. So you can, I wouldn't be waiting until, well, when I retire at, at 55 or at 62, then I'm going to worry. Because that's really easy. I hear this guy on the internet and, he just does it. How hard can it be? I'll just do it then. Maybe, maybe not. I think it's easier to do as you're coming up because you could be just 15 to 20 trades away from making a significant difference in your trading life. You could be, but it does take. So, what I'm drawing a distinction here, I'm not saying it takes years to become a successful trader. You could do it in a much shorter period of time, right? With I think, the right coaching, the right perspective. But it does take years to experience what you need to experience and see for yourselves what markets can do, right? So we said on Friday that was a significant event. And then when the market bounced, Columbus Day got a little bit of a bounce. Keep your powder dry. Probably not going back to see those highs. Probably going to have 3, 4, 5 trading sessions where it's going to be inside that range. We won't break out high. We won't break out low. But probably, shortly thereafter, we're going to take out the Friday lows. We'll see if that comes to pass. I'm not forecasting. I'm not saying that you should do anything. Don't go, you said it's going to break, so I'm going to go put $100,000 of, 10-day put options on. Don't do that. Not a good idea, but you'll get a chance to see. Now, I didn't want to embarrass myself, but, today, right about noon, we haven't done it, and I don't think I've done it all summer, actually. We put out a tweet. You can go see the tweet on the Twittersphere. And we put in a tweet, short the market, the ES, I think it was at 67.15, and the NASDAQ at 25,000, I think 25 or 30. One mini in each is up real time if a person, took a look at it with what they were doing, and there were some people that did, and they're probably up upwards of about 10 grand in less than 2 hours. Does that mean that we can do it again tomorrow? Nope. No guarantee. Nope. But then again, we might, and the next one might pay out 20 grand. It might. And then again, we might put it on, we might make 1,500. Well, never know. You never know. Especially trading intraday. We never know how far. What we do want to take off is that what we can't have is we can't have a trade that you put on and lose 10 grand. That can't happen. And it won't happen. Why? We use stops. And the programs use stops. We can't have it. You cannot have it. You mean to tell me, Don, every time you put on a trade, it has a stop? Yes, it does. Yep, every single one. At least one. Yep. See, where retail traders get themselves in trouble is they buy, and they're like, why would I need a stop? Because I'm putting this on to make money. I don't want to lose any money. Oh, okay. So you got to be prepared. And if your goal, let me put it this way, if your goal is to make, let's say that, you're going to trade 20 days a month. There are 24 possible. You're going to take one day off. You're going to have 20. And you want to make, so this is what I'll ask people, and they'll say, I want to make $500 a day. Okay, that's admirable. It's admirable. That'd be a nice way to go. That'd be $10,000 a month. And then I'll say, so it's $500 a day. But can you lose $500 a day? Shit, no, I can't do that, Don. Why not? Well, I only got $2,500 in my account. And the answer to that is no, you can't. Because if your goal is to make $500 a day, you got to be prepared that you might lose at least, but you might lose $500 in a day. And if $500 a day is 30% of your account or 25% of your account, 30%, you can't relax and you could be out of business in just a couple of days. Well, that's no fun, Don. Well, I'm sorry, but you have to work at your craft, work with what you have, acquire the skill, and work within your skill set. You go to the golf course. I know you got the naked lady tees and you got the fancy golf balls and you got your knickers and you got your brand new Hogan clubs or whatever the latest clubs are. I still got my old Callaways, and you got all the tools and you got your fancy golf cart, the one with the onk onk onk, the guy from Caddyshack, and you pull up to the first tee, and you paid it's a fancy course, cost you, $300 for 18, and you're like, well, I'm playing from the tips. I paid for this, and I'm playing from the tips. I'd be like, oh, okay. And I'm probably right behind you, unfortunately. And after about 2 holes, you don't have any more golf balls. You lost them all. And you may have had 50 in there. You watch one video. Same thing. What are you going to do now? You're not going to see the person will say, well, I want to play from the tips because I want to see the golf course. Well, if you run out of golf balls after the first 2 or 3 holes, you ain't going to see any part of the course. You're going to be done. So you might have to throttle back and play an executive course. We're into chip and putt. We're in the craft. We're in the game. But nobody wants to, not nobody. You guys do, because you're here. But you know who I'm talking about. And not just the younger folks, the older folks too. They want everything instantaneous. They look back at I can do this. Watch. I'm going to do this with silver. This is going to make you sick. I know it is. Put it on a daily. 103 days ago, 103 days ago, at 5 p.m., where's the date? Well, it was 103 days. I don't want to mess up my scaling, but we can put in the date. I should have well, yeah, when we're trading intraday, I don't put the date on. But it was 103 days ago on silver. If you had bought one mini contract of silver at 34.49, you got $92,000. Now, we were suggesting to our monthly members, they know, they heard us, when it was underneath 25 and then it got to 30, said anything under 30, you got to be buying silver. Proportionately, I'm not saying you go mortgage the house and mortgage everything. I don't think that's a good way to go. Now, if somebody did buy 10 mini silvers, yeah, they got $1 million. Now, somebody comes in today, oh, I want that. I know you do, but you can't have it. You had to do it 103 days ago. Gold. 38. This is even less. Look at gold. 38 days ago, when it was at 34.17. When your broker was probably telling you got to sell gold. It's too high. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you an anecdotal story. I have a family member. I'm going to keep her privacy. And she said that to me, Donnie. Because I whispered in her ear. She's like, Donnie, my gold's up because she's in it long time ago. She's on a weekly basis. And the broker was suggesting sell it. Because the only people who buy gold and silver are people who think it's the end of the world. Oh, okay. Into his world. He's going the way of the dodo bird. I I don't have a broker. I don't need one. What do I need them for? 38 days, one mini contract, 90 grand. You're sitting on a pile of cash. Okay, well your cash is being devalued. Do you know that? I mean, if you did put on 10, you wanted to own gold. If you did get 10 of them, you got $1 million in gold in 38 days. It's there. I can't make it up. It's there. What about the weekly? It's worse because it was 101 weeks ago, just 2 years ago, when it was at 2281. You know it was there. We were saying to folks when gold was at 1700, at 1700 we're like, you have to buy gold, and anytime it drops below 1700, you gotta buy it for the long term. Now if you had bought a now you have to roll the contract, which is no big deal. It's a seamless transition. So if you had bought and kept rolling your contract and ignored your brokers, one mini contract, you're up $203,000. Now it doesn't buy as much shit because of inflation, right? That's the game. And you had 5 contracts. Once again, you got a million. Silver on a weekly, 84 weeks ago, 84, 123 grand. And now we'll put it back because we are also traders, right? So we will trade, underneath this and all of that. Make sense? All right. We shall see. We'll see what comes overnight. We'll see what happens tomorrow. My instincts tell me they take out the lows tomorrow from last week. I think so. And if they do, don't know for sure, but if they do, Monday and Tuesday, the end of October could really be a bear cat. And it won't be about the tweeting of Trump. It'll be what it'll be. The conditions are still very, very ripe. There's a lot of dry tinder in this forest. It's very, very dry. And now the other part of me, why is gold going now in silver? Because the dollar is actually going up. The dollar's not going down. The dollar's trending up. So the dollar's going up, gold and silver going up, and that's a little unusual. Is it a fight to safety? Now, the VIX structure, the VIX that we report on every night, has been forecasting problems 6 months out, then 90 days, then 30 days, and now up close. But 6 months out over the last month or so was flashing a warning. Is there something out there? I don't know. It appears to be to us. Somebody sees something, So we're all in here paddling our little surfboards, and someone really, really big sees some big wave or something out there. Maybe it's coming ashore. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's going to dissipate. I don't know. Maybe it's a tidal wave. You don't want to be, just like, that the Boxer Day, tsunami. You don't want to be there when all the elephants start going to the hills and all the birds stop chirping, and then the tide goes out, and you're like, oh, kids, let's go out and, oh, look how the ocean went out, and let's go do some shelling. Yeah, and all of a sudden, because you don't know what you don't know, that probably would have been me. I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known that the elephants went to the hills, that the birds were quiet, and I wouldn't have thought, like, why is the ocean gone out, Susie? Hey, let's go out and do some shelling. We used to go out, we haven't of late, but we used to go out to British Columbia a ton, out in the Vancouver Island, and we would see all these signs. We'd be out on the rocks. We'd see all these signs like, if you hear the tsunami siren, go to high ground. And we just kind of like read it, like, oh, that's kind of interesting, and not even give it a thought. And then we stayed at some beautiful places, some beautiful homes. We'd rent some homes, and real popular in Canada is the Best Western. So we stayed at. I remember we stayed in Tofino. Beautiful, beautiful on the western side of Vancouver Island, and there was a Best Western out there, right on the ocean, flat. Beautiful, beautiful. We saw the signs pulling in. You know, had dinner, went to bed, didn't give it a second thought. No, nothing happened. But God forbid anything did happen. We were done. We were right there on the ocean. I wouldn't have known what the hell to do. We would have just been washed away. Don't get washed away in the market. Rule number one, don't lose big. Rule number two, observe rule number one. Rule number three, observe rule number two. Don't lose big. Imprint it on your ass. Because if you don't, the market will. I don't mean to be crass, but it will. It's brutal. So I'm not a Pollyanna, and I'm not here to preach gloom and doom. I'm not. In the last 11 minutes, if you bought it, you made 700. If you made 15 minutes, you made a grand. No problem. We're traders. We can do that. But by the same token, because we're here, we also want to have situational awareness of where you are. So if you're vacationing and you're vacationing in Tofino, British Columbia, off of Vancouver Island, you now know that area is susceptible to earthquakes. And if you're on the ocean, yeah, you might want to be aware. You know, Same thing, I guess, if you're in Thailand or wherever you be. You get in these markets, you just can't plow your money, everything you got, into it and treat it like it's a certificate of deposit, and that you're going to be in one piece. And it does you no good to say, "Well, everyone else is doing it." That's no, not everyone is. And most people don't want to hear what we're talking about. Don't even want to see us doing this. They don't want you doing it, right? You ever see that movie? What was that? Was it The Pursuit of Happiness? That movie with remember the guy who punched that other guy? I forget that actor, but his little son, and it was his real son, was in the movie, and there's a scene in the movie where he's teaching his young son, um, how to throw baskets, and he kind of hoses the son down, and he dispirits him. I don't know if you remember that movie. I can't remember the movie's name. I think it was The Pursuit of Happiness, wasn't it? And then the father realizes, it was Will Smith, and he realizes that what he kind of did, and he says to his son, "Hey, don't let me ever do that to you. Don't let me dispirit you ever. Don't let anyone do that." So when I share these messages, I'm not pleased. It's far from it. I'm not trying to dispirit any. I'm trying to inspire you that you can do it. You absolutely can do it. And we have members that have blown us away. You can do it. And you can do it far better. So that's, you absolutely can. And just got to take your time and enjoy it. And whatever careers you did, you didn't get as good as you are in your career, like in the first, like 90 days. Took you a while. Took you a while, right? And when I think of, in particular, I spent a good part of my career with Johnson & Johnson. Their stock is doing really well, by the way, too. Pretty good company. And you could have picked up J&J stock. We were with Rob in his Q school, and what was it? It was only like 3, 4 weeks ago. You put it on a chart. She was trading at about 174, 175 bucks, and we had it up on our charts. I'm like, hey, that would be a good stock to pick up right here, right now, and sell a covered call at 180. Now I don't know where J&J is trading at, but you know what, it's probably much higher than 180. So if a person did that, which we did, you can't bemoan the fact that you had profits taken away. You still made a nice fat profit in less than 30 days. But you can use these tools to trade not just intraday, but also learn to use these tools to help augment maybe a fundamental analysis so you can also get into some investments too for the longer term. And you don't get left, you don't want to be the bag, you can hodl for a longer term, but you just don't want to become the bag holder. You don't want to get left holding the bag, you know. And all right, so kind of rambled on there, but you can do this. It is an acquired skill set. The volatility is back, and I don't know how long it's going to last. You never do. When we got into a compression of volatility over the summer, it lasted all summer. Okay, this could last for 3 weeks. It could last for 3 months. It might be like this for 3 years. Right now, this is trading nirvana. This is traders love this up and down, down and up. That's, the hodlers don't like it. And it also will, the swing traders that don't really have game will get exposed. They may complain about it. They may, but if they're honest with themselves, it's a time to really do some self-assessment. Say, hey, maybe I'm not as good as I thought, and I need to, to regroup. All right, so we're gonna let you watch. It's 3:49, and I will let you watch for a few minutes after 4. And if you're seeing us for the first time, Tina, I know you're not, but if you are, be sure to visit the site and ask us any questions. And there's the bell. Of course, now the futures markets are still open. They'll be open until about 4:15. Then they stop and they go take a leak. Then they come back at 4:30. Between 4:30 and 5, they square away with the bankers. And then the partners, they leave. Then they go to the strip clubs in New York and go out and have a big fat steak. And they hand the hedge funds over to the interns. And then they go home to their wives around 8:30 and 9 o'clock, half in the bag. And then they come back in the morning around 4 o'clock, and we do it all over again. Right? Me, I'm not going to any strip clubs. I'm going to be taking the dogs to the dog park. And I don't drink and I don't smoke weed. It's a great life. Have fun, everybody. We're ready when you are.